What's up, y'all? Another week coming to us. We got Monday mindset going through today. So, new week, new topic. It relates a lot with the things we kind of been talking about last week. So, today's inspiration, as far as our conversation goes, it comes from a conversation I had last week with an athlete. So, I'll give a little background first and foremost. So, the athlete that I had a conversation with has been going through our Surge Fuel program. Those that are unfamiliar with it, our fuel program is an individualized nutrition program that's at least 90 days long that breaks down nutrition individually for the participants that are doing it. And every participant we've had has kind of had their own individual hurdles and lifestyle changes and other things that they've had to overcome during this time frame. And so the athlete started talking to me, kind of explaining those things of, you know, this is really hard. This isn't really allowing me to do my go out with friends. It isn't allowing me to, it's stressing me out. It's doing all these other things. And then on top of that, I went on to basically say that this is just so hard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue this for the rest of my life. So is it worth me even doing right now? And so we talked for a while, and so one of the things we first talked about was absolutely it's worthwhile doing. You know, first you're making changes. Any sort of change is going to be hard. You know, whether it's a small change, whether it's a huge lifestyle change is always hard, and it's hard for everyone. So it's absolutely worth doing. You know, the other part of it is, if it was easy, you probably were already doing it perfect. You were probably already doing the things that are required you to do. And so it wouldn't be difficult at all. And so by it being hard, it's an indication that there's change that need to be made, and you're making yourself better for it. And so as we got to talking further on that, was oftentimes as athletes, as individuals, just as people, we get so wrapped up in the what ifs and the buts and 6 months down the road, all these things, what could happen, that we kind of handcuff ourselves on success now. You know, we think about the big spectrum of things of where's my life going to look at a year from now? Where am I going to be 6 months from now? When really that doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters, but we can't control those things. The one thing that we can control, and the one thing that we are all given on this planet, so long that nothing happens, is 24 hours. We're all given 24 hours, and what we choose to do with those 24 hours is what makes the difference. And so as we discuss that, we discuss further on, you know, not worrying so much about tomorrow, not worrying about so much next week, but focus on today being the best day that you possibly can make it. You know, allow yourself to kind of go through the process and go through the journey of learning those new changes that you're having to make on this, and allow the changes for that day to be the best you can for that day. And then tomorrow, do the same thing. And then tomorrow after that, do the same thing there. And then sooner or later, those changes that you all of a sudden thought were monumental and just absolutely overwhelmed your thought process, all of a sudden become easy, and those are your new habits, and those are the things that all of a sudden you start leaning on as far as your daily habit goes. So that's what we got kind of discussing of work for today, not tomorrow. You know, make this moment that you're in the best you can possibly make it. And so left the athlete kind of thinking about it. You know, I think that kind of just changing the perspective sometimes can all of a sudden lift the weight off our shoulders, and I think that might have helped out with that. But then yesterday, I actually got to see and witness firsthand of what doing that process and focusing on one day at a time will actually affect you down the road. So yesterday, our open gym hours, we had another athlete come in, do some rowing intervals, do some jump rope, do some hip extension work, and did it a half hour. You know, I mean, it wasn't anything that was earth-blowing. It wasn't like the most crazy workout ever. But this athlete chose to come in, do this on his own. He made up the workout, no pressure from anyone else. Now, a little background on this athlete is, so he's been going through our Surge Muscle program for the last 8 weeks. before he started the program, you know, he was hit or miss. He'd come to the gym 2 days a week, maybe 3, then 1, then kind of was off and on all over the place, and was seeing changes, started to see him happen, but the consistency wasn't there. And so he signed up for the muscle program, has absolutely been crushing it, has been ultimately dedicated, has made it to all 6 days of training for the last 8 weeks. And yesterday was kind of the culmination of, you can see the lifestyle change actually happen. For 8 weeks, they've been working for the 6 days a week of program workouts, and every day is a new workout depending on what that is. And so he's been hitting he hasn't missed a workout yet. So he came in. I'll give a little background story of kind of why he came in on his own side. So he apparently on Saturday went out with some friends to a local establishment, wherever they went, and decided he said he wasn't planning on really doing anything, but all of a sudden ended up having a cocktail or two. And so Sunday he woke up, whether it was due to guilt, whether it was due to his work ethic, whether it was just, I need to get the ball rolling from Monday so I can keep this momentum going, he decided to come in and do that half hour worth of basically aerobic conditioning to kind of get everything sweated out and get his body feeling right again. You know, after I had a conversation and kind of jokingly of like, that would have never happened 8 weeks ago. If I pressured him, or if the whole gym pressured him to say, okay, you go out on Saturday night, you can have drinks, but Sunday morning I expect you to come into the gym for a half hour of rowing intervals and other things on that, he probably would have laughed hysterically or never even come back to the gym. And so it was a really kind of cool side to see from a coaching perspective of how focusing on each single day can make huge changes in the long run. You know, when he first started the muscle program, it wasn't, okay, 8 weeks from now on a Sunday after doing this, you're going to all of a sudden have these huge changes in your life. No, it was, okay, Monday is here, I'm going to focus on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I earn my week, Sunday I rest, and I do that all over again. I bust my ass 6 days a week in doing those things. And it may not even take 6 days a week. I'm just using that as an example. But all of a sudden you can see those little changes all of a sudden occur, not only physically, and he's made absolutely crazy changes in the last 8 weeks, but at the same time, mentally. You know, he's overcome hurdles and things that I'm not sure if he ever knew he was possible of on a physical standpoint, but mentally that was probably one of the more rewarding things of seeing him change, as not only as an athlete but just as a person, and a work ethic thing of seeing the things that he probably would have once upon a time joked about, of being like, yeah, right, that's not happening, to all of a sudden the things that he expects out of himself. So it goes hand in hand with that, you guys. That conversation I had with the first athlete to the example I had with the second athlete. If you can focus on that one day being the best day you can possibly make it, and then the second day, and then the third day, and so on and so forth, and all of a sudden that ball turns into that ball rolling down the hill into that momentum, and all of a sudden, once again, the habits that you once upon a time thought were a joke, all of a sudden become your new habits, become your new lifestyle, become the new things that you lean your values on, and all of a sudden they become part of you. So that's what our topic is today, you guys. That's what our conversation is about today, is focus on the present, make it the absolute best effort you can put into that moment, that second, that task, and then allow tomorrow to be the same. Don't get caught up in the what ifs, the buts in 6 months from now. Get caught up, or focus on today, make it the best you can, and you will achieve great things in this world in your life. So let's get this week rolling, gang. Let's have some fun this week. Healthier, better you. Let's get her done, gang. Later.